Somewhere in Ohio right now, there's a retired school teacher. She spent 35 years in a classroom. She saved carefully, every single month. She thought she'd found love online. She thought she'd found a great investment. She transferred her life savings, wire by wire, into an account she trusted, and then it was gone. Now here's what they don't tell you. That money, it never left America to go to some criminal in Cambodia. It was spent right here, in the United States, converted, laundered, cleaned, and then it became steel, cement, construction materials, shipped to Southeast Asia to build the Chinese Communist Party's Belt and Road infrastructure. Your neighbor's retirement fund built Beijing's empire. I'm not speculating. I'm reading the receipts, and Washington has been handed the same receipts. Let's talk about what's really happening here. You've heard of pig butchering scams, the romance scam, the fake crypto investment. Someone online, charming, patient, attentive, builds your trust for weeks, sometimes months. Then one day they say, I know a great opportunity, and you hand over your savings. Here are the numbers, straight from the FBI. Americans reported more than $7.2 billion in losses from cryptocurrency investment fraud alone in 2025. Total cybercrime losses, over $20 billion, a 26% single-year increase, $20 billion in 1 year. But here's the part the mainstream media glosses over. When you wire that money, it doesn't fly to Cambodia. It doesn't go anywhere exotic. It gets caught in a web of ghost accounts, thousands of fake ID holders, money mules inside the United States. It gets split, bounced, converted into crypto, specifically to platforms like Huayong Group. Huayong Guarantee operated as a peer-to-peer marketplace running mainly on Telegram, a meeting point where criminals could buy and sell illegal services, fake identities, stolen credit card data, money laundering tools, and scam kits. Blockchain analysts called it the largest illicit online marketplace ever, eclipsing dark web predecessors like Silk Road. By the time your money is done traveling through that system, it's cleaned, it's been converted, and it's been used to pay wages to scam workers in Cambodia, whose salaries go directly to their families back in China, inside the Chinese banking system. Then that money gets converted again into Chinese steel, Chinese cement, Chinese building materials, exported to Southeast Asia, to build the Belt and Road, to expand the Chinese Communist Party's footprint across the globe. You didn't just get scammed, you were taxed by Beijing, without your knowledge, without your consent. Now, Washington finally got angry. Strike one. Last October, the U.S. Treasury Department, OFAC, FinCEN, working alongside Britain, imposed sweeping sanctions on 146 targets within the Prince Group transnational criminal organization, a Cambodia-based network led by Chen Zhi that operated a transnational criminal empire through online investment scams targeting Americans. And they didn't just sanction them. The DOJ filed a civil forfeiture complaint for 127,271 Bitcoin, valued at more than $15 billion, now in the custody of the U.S. government, the largest forfeiture action in U.S. history. They didn't just arrest the guy, they took his Bitcoin wallets. $15 billion, gone, seized, done. Strike two. On June 23rd, the Justice Department announced the seizure of a cloud computing account used by subsidiaries of the Huayong Group, its technological backbone that allowed billions in fraud proceeds to be transferred, moved, and concealed, much of it stolen through Southeast Asian scam centers. Back-to-back, body blows. First they took the cash, now they took the infrastructure. But here's the move that's got Beijing really sweating. American intelligence agencies are actively working on a report to Congress that will disclose new details about the wealth of Chinese Communist Party leaders, including Party General Secretary Xi Jinping himself. The public report is due before the end of this year. It's required by law, mandated in the 2026 Intelligence Authorization Act, embedded inside the Defense Authorization Act. And here's the kicker. The report must be in unclassified form, posted on a publicly available government website. No classified burial, no bureaucratic delay. It goes on the internet, for the world to read, including the people inside China who will never find this on their own. Congress expert Paul Berkowitz said it plainly. Communists derive their legitimacy by portraying themselves as humble servants of the people. They know it would be devastating for the party if Chinese citizens knew how filthy rich their leaders were. Now, let's talk about what happened 3 days after Washington seized Huayong's servers. June 26th, Beijing, the Great Hall of the People. President Xi Jinping met with Cambodian Senate President Hun Sen and publicly stated, China is willing to establish a security partnership with Cambodia and work with Cambodia to make sustained efforts to root out the chronic problem of telecom fraud. Read that again. The leader of the Chinese Communist Party, standing in the most powerful room in Beijing, summoning Cambodia's strongman to publicly promise to crack down on scams. Why now? Why him? Why not a police minister, a justice official? Why is the General Secretary of the Communist Party personally holding a press conference about internet scams? Because the money trail leads to his house. Because Washington followed it there. Xi praised Cambodia's crackdown on cybercrime and pledged to eliminate what he called the tumor of telecom and online fraud. A tumor. That tumor was growing inside his own administration. Think about the optics here. Chen Ji, the man at the center of this criminal empire, was a personal advisor to Cambodian Prime Minister Hun Manet. He had cabinet-level protection. He had Beijing's blessing for years. And now Xi Jinping is standing on a stage calling his own network a tumor. Imagine being the fire chief, who's also been the arsonist, and now you're being photographed at the fire. This isn't leadership. This is a man destroying evidence while the cameras are rolling. So what exactly is in this intelligence report that has Beijing in a cold sweat? The 2026 NDAA requires the Director of National Intelligence to publish a report assessing the wealth of senior CCP leaders, including estimates of personal wealth, financial assets, and business interests. Every member of the Politburo Standing Committee, every regional party secretary, their spouses, their children, their in-laws, their shell companies in the British Virgin Islands, their real estate in Hong Kong and Macau, their offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands, all of it, unclassified, public. We already got a preview. A 2025 intelligence assessment stated that Xi Jinping's siblings, nieces, and nephews held business investments in real estate valued at more than $1 billion. And Congress called that report an insult, described as an absurdly meaningless 4-page report that relied mainly on press clippings and lacked specifics. The new one won't. It will include non-public information derived from classified sources, financial intelligence, foreign partner reporting, and human intelligence. This isn't a press release. This is the intelligence community turning over the mattress, and the most dangerous part? This report can circulate freely inside the Communist Party. There's no firewall stopping a Politburo member from reading it or using it. Every line in that document becomes ammunition in the next round of internal power struggles, in the next anti-corruption purge, which, by the way, is never really about fighting corruption. It's about which faction controls the purge. The best weapon against the Chinese Communist Party isn't a missile, it's a spreadsheet. Let's connect the dots. All of them. The Justice Department seized $15 billion in Bitcoin from a Cambodia-based scam empire. Then they took down its cloud infrastructure. Then they expanded sanctions. Then the intelligence community confirmed it's building a comprehensive public dossier on every senior CCP official's hidden wealth. And 3 days after one of those seizures, the General Secretary of the Chinese Communist Party personally appeared on camera to distance himself from the very network that funded his party's overseas expansion. That is not a coincidence. That is a man receiving a message. Now, some people will tell you this is just financial enforcement. Routine law enforcement, nothing strategic. Don't believe it. The Treasury Secretary said it plainly. The rapid rise of transnational fraud has cost American citizens billions of dollars, with life savings wiped out in minutes. This is about more than stolen retirement funds. What else do you call a party that runs scam compounds, launders billions through ghost accounts and fake IDs, uses your money to build its global infrastructure, and still holds a permanent seat on the UN Security Council? The scam economy funded the Belt and Road. The Belt and Road expanded CCP influence globally. That global influence threatens American security. That's why this isn't just at the FBI. That's why it's at the intelligence community level. That's why it's in the Defense Authorization Act. And that's why, for the first time in a long time, Beijing looks nervous. A regime that spent decades preaching common prosperity is about to have its bank statements published on the internet. A party that calls itself the servant of the people is about to be exposed as its wealthiest thief. That's not just accountability. That's the beginning of the end. Stay vigilant, stay informed. If someone online seems too good to be true, they are. And if your government tells you this is just a fraud case, ask them why the Director of National Intelligence is involved. We'll keep following this. Hit subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, the most powerful weapon in the world right now isn't sitting in a missile silo, it's sitting in a spreadsheet on Capitol Hill.